Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Ghana's new elections body promises to deliver free and fair polls. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline from Monday, July 29th from the CMC News Center in Bridgetown. I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. A new chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission, GCOM, is on the job, and she's promising to oversee free, transparent and fair elections. Retired Justice Claudette Singh made her plans clear after being sworn in by President David Granger on Monday morning. She begins her stint at GCOM amid calls from the opposition for the election body's ongoing house-to-house registration to be halted and for a date for elections to be announced. And Justice Singh has promised to carry out her functions according to the law and constitution and nothing else. Newsroom's Bibi Katoon reports.
Justice retired Claudette Singh was selected by President David Granger last Friday from a list of 6 submitted by opposition leader Barra Jagdeo. She had initially declined nomination when first approached by the opposition leader in 2017. On Monday, she said she accepted the position for the benefit of Guyana and no other reason, as she committed to honoring the Constitution.
My priority would be this. I am endeavoring to have free, fair, and transparent elections. I am also looking forward to have a meeting with each set of commissioners, and I'll have it separately. The meeting with the government commissioners and then the opposition commissioners. Then I will bring all of them together. And I believe in inclusivity, and I will speak to everybody, and I do not believe in people walking out when there's a disagreement.
Her stellar career in law gave her the titles Iron Lady and the Hanging Judge, and she was mindful of those titles in not making much of the fact that she is the first woman to chair the Ghana Elections Commission.
When I was on the bench, I was called Iron Lady, I was called the Hanging Judge, so what's the difference? I'm just hoping I will do something for Guyana, because there's only one way, in accordance with the law, in accordance with the Constitution, and nothing else.
During a brief speech, the President acknowledged the independence of GCOM in managing elections in Guyana, stating that free, fair, credible and timely elections are essential elements of a democratic state. He said Justice Singh satisfied constitutional requirements for being appointed and said she is widely respected.
Justice Singh brings years of legal experience as a jurist and as a practitioner of the law to her appointment. She is respected widely for her integrity, impartiality, and her independence. I thank her for accepting the appointment. I'm confident that she will discharge her duties in accordance with her oath of office and in compliance with the Constitution and our electoral laws.
The opposition leader also expressed confidence in the new chairman, as he expressed hope that the same level of cooperation with the president can continue.
It's a happy day for all of Ghana, not just for one side or the other, and we look forward to cooperating on the other issues. The President and I spoke about this, and we hope that we can take the same spirit we had, the spirit of collaboration on this appointment, into other matters.
Over in Jamaica, the opposition People's National Party, PNP, is going to court to challenge the constitutionality of the continued states of emergency in parts of the country. Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips says the measure was not designed to be used for crime control, and he wants the court to rule on that. TVJ's Dashan Hendricks has the details of that story.
The states of emergency in western parishes and the St. Andrews South Police Division were extended with the support of the opposition in Parliament last week, but the People's National Party, PNP, signals it remains uncomfortable with the use of the measure to fight crime. On Friday, opposition spokesman on justice Donna Scott Motley suggested in the Senate that the court should decide on the continued use of the SOEs in the way the government is using the measure. On Sunday, the opposition leader gave a more definitive indication that the party will take the matter to court.
We believe that there should be a testing in the courts of the proposition that states of emergency were not intended to be a crime control measure outside of insurrection or some direct challenge to constitutional order. And our legal team is looking at that to see what is the best way to cause the courts to make a determination in that regard.
He maintains that the suspension of constitutional rights to fight crime is not a solution to the country's problem.
It is for that reason why we are holding our stakeholders meeting on Tuesday.
Dr. Phillips said that Crime Summit is not about scoring political points, but about finding genuine solutions to an issue which has been plaguing Jamaica for far too long. What he says has made him more uncomfortable is the Prime Minister signaling that he wants to use states of emergency for up to 7 years, and that's why he says the party is taking the matter to court.
I think ultimately there are various views in the legal fraternity as to the legality. Various views even within the party as to the legality. Various views that separate government and opposition regarding the legality. We think that the courts are the proper place where these matters of law get determined, these matters of constitutionality. So what we have asked is a team from the party to examine the best way of getting the courts to consider this matter speedily.
In the Bahamas, the ruling Free National Movement government has brushed aside a move by the main opposition Progressive Liberal Party to bring a motion of no confidence against Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. Opposition leader Philip Davis said the motion would require government legislators to go on record and to demonstrate whether they are on the side of the lies or on the side of the Bahamian people. But Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest dismissed the planned motion, saying it's a total waste of time. Davis says the motion would be as a result of government's handling of a lease to rent space in a building in the capital.
I want to announce that I'll be working with our parliamentary group on a no-confidence motion that we intend to introduce in the House of Assembly at the earliest opportunity. And what we are going to do, because they have the numbers, right? It's a mathematical matter for them. But for us, what we are going to do is require members of the F&M to go on the record and vote. They are going to be forced to demonstrate whether they are on the side of lies or whether they're on the side of the Bahamian people. That's the purpose of that resolution.
While addressing PLPs on the final night of their two-day convention, Davis listed the many reasons he said the Free National Movement, more specifically Prime Minister Minnis, must go.
We have a government openly giving millions in contracts to a sitting member of cabinet while cutting budgets for our young people and athletes. We have a government that thinks social assistance means helping rich friends instead of out-of-work Bahamians. We have a government that expects you, the people, to shoulder more and more of the tax burden while the high and mighty get special exemptions and special passes. We have a prime minister and a cabinet who think rules are for little people, not for themselves.
The Haitian government says it has launched an investigation into alleged acts of corruption at its embassy in the Bahamas. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a statement the probe is scheduled to end on August 3rd. It follows an investigation by Bahamian authorities on corruption involving Haitian diplomats in Nassau. Last week, 3 Bahamian men and 2 Haitian women were charged in connection with fraudulent marriages. And Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has called in Parliament to approve the nomination and government of newly appointed Prime Minister Fritz William Michel, describing him as a brilliant civil servant who has devoted his entire career to serving the country's people. The 38-year-old Michel, a former executive in the Ministry of Economy and Finance, replaces Jean-Michel Lapin, who stepped down in the interest of the country. In a statement, Moïse said that he and the presidents of the 2 branches of Parliament chose Michel to put an end to the political paralysis that's harming citizens. He said Michel's 18-member cabinet, which is made up equally of men and women, is representative and inclusive, and it's time for the Parliament to approve the government. But legislators remain divided on Michel's appointment, with some insisting that Moïse should step down in the wake of allegations of embezzlement related to the Petro-Caribe oil initiative with Venezuela, and call fresh elections. Coming up, the St. Kitts and Nevis government to table legislation to decriminalize marijuana. The details when we return.
After an emergency, you can help yourself and others by looking, listening, and linking.
Looking because you want to see if the person has some signs that is in distressing. Looking for the symptoms, how best you can support the person. And then listening, because listening is very important. Listening with your ears, listening with your eyes. If you do that well, then you'll be able to link them to the appropriate resources.
Be ready, look, listen, and link.
The St. Kitts and Nevis government will table legislation in Parliament on Tuesday allowing for the regulated and controlled use of marijuana for medicinal, scientific, religious and recreational purposes. A government statement said Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris will table the amendments to the Drugs Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2019. Harris promised that his administration would give special support and priority to locals interested in pursuing marijuana cultivation and trade within the confines of the law. The pending legislative amendments are coming on the heels of Cabinet establishing a National Marijuana Commission to get the views of citizens and residents on cannabis use. The commission found unanimous agreement for decriminalization of marijuana in the Twin Island Federation. It also recommended a phased approach to the establishment of a marijuana industry. In this week's Newsline Health, we look at tropical diseases and disasters. The issue came up for discussion at a recent congress hosted by Ross University School of Medicine in St. Kitts. Marie-Claire Williams has the details.
With the increasing threat of hurricanes and other natural disasters in recent years, health researchers are paying more attention to tropical diseases and disaster management. It was one of the areas of focus at the recent Congress held by the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine earlier this month. Parasitologist Dr. Arvir Willingham told Newsline Health that regional organizations are collaborating to help countries better prepare.
So it's preparing the health systems in the region for when such activities occur. There's actually now a program being established at the American University of the Caribbean Medical School over on St. Martin, working with, I think, SEDEMA on disaster management for training, academic training as well as professional training for persons throughout the region on how to better prepare for such natural disasters.
He says they are also working to address various mosquito-borne diseases and other tropical diseases that have been affecting the region.
And we've been engaged in the past with CARFA, the Pasteur Institute in Guadeloupe, and the Tropical Diseases Institute in Cuba. The three of us with CARFA, we were forming a regional network with regard to those arboviruses we were just discussing. How to better prepare for outbreaks of those diseases, because invariably we, as you know, we face constant outbreaks. As you know, with the Zika outbreak we had year before last, and then even more so with dengue, which is coming through fairly frequently. Every few years we have a dengue outbreak.
Marie-Claire Williams, Newsline Health.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, rain wrecks the opening round of the Cricket West Indies Under-19 Championship. We'll be right back.
Join global, regional, and local financial technology experts at the 3rd annual Central Bank Meets Blockchain Conference, Beyond Borders. Last year's conference was a sold-out event. This year's speakers will present on the role of central bank digital currencies in digital transformation within developing nations. Join us at the 3rd annual Central Bank Meets Blockchain Conference, Beyond Borders, September 10th, Hilton Barbados Resort.
We got a breadfruit that has been peeled. There is a Christophine sitting on the table and 2 hairy coconuts.
Here from Steam St. Croix. Now and I saw the foil sitting in it. Now I think I'm seeing what is going to happen with this pot. And they're putting that coconut right into the smoke, the fire part of the smoker. But on top of the smoker, the calf's liver. So much happening over here. St. Croix is on the top.
Coming up, eye-catching art, a mix of cultures on display in one location. It's time for Carifesta, the best of Barbados outside of Barbados. Antigua and Barbuda get showcased to the world, plus an East-West fusion of sound. It's all next on Caribbean Passport on this station.
It's It's time for sports now, and rain wrecked the opening round of the Cricket West Indies Under-19 Championship on Sunday. Only 61 balls were possible in the feature contest between Windward Islands and title holders Guyana, while the two other fixtures were abandoned without a ball bowled. Playing at Arnos Vale Stadium in St. Vincent, rain twice interrupted the Windward innings after they were sent in, before a third shower ended the contest prematurely, with the home side on 48 for 2 in the 11th over. In the short time available, West Indies Under-19 star Kimani Melius highlighted proceedings by stroking an up-tempo 34 ball 25. Jamaica and Leeward Islands also share the points at Cumberland, while Trinidad and Tobago did likewise at Park Hill after rain prevented the start of both encounters. 2018 Commonwealth gold medalist Michelle Lee Ayi has copped another gold medal in her native Trinidad and Tobago. Running in the women's 100-meter final at the Senior Championship, she stopped the clock in 11.18 seconds, beating former national champion Kellyanne Baptiste. Ayi, along with Barbadian hurdlist Gregmar Swift and national 100-meter gold medalist Keston Bledman, spoke with TV6's Sergio Dufour after their races.
The women's 100 meters in 11.18 seconds, Michelle Lee Ayi said the weather was not ideal, but she enjoyed the race.
Okay, I guess. The weather kind of threw me up a little bit because when the track is wet, it's not as fast as it's when it's dry, but I'm pretty happy with the performance.
She also spoke about her next task.
Just to stay healthy and make it through all the rounds in the one and hopefully the two.
Are you planning to double up here at Nationals this weekend?
Well, it depends on how I feel in the morning, but I'm hoping to double up.
Barbados' Gregmar Swift won the 110 hurdles in 13.86 seconds. He defeated Memphis Pioneers' Ruben Walters, who finished in 13.96 seconds.
I feel really good, man. Actually, my second time in Trinidad and Tobago, and I wasn't even sure I was going to come here, but my friend J.U. Gordon, actually my best friend J.U. Gordon told me come down and sharpen up for the Pan American game, and so said so done, man. So I really love Trinidad, and I'm sure I will come back next year.
As for the 100-meter champion, Keston Bledman said he could not have felt better.
I'm wonderful. I mean, a win is a win no matter what the time is. And I come here to win, so it was feel great.
What's next for you on the agenda?
Pan American Games. And from there, the Pan American Games, go back to the joint boy train and focus on world champs.
He also spoke about how he felt being awarded gold for the Beijing 2008 Olympics.
Awarded the gold medal from, yes. Tell me how you feel about that. I'm wonderful, you know. I mean, we didn't get the excitement that we wanted because it was been ages ago, but goal is goal, you know. So no matter how you get it, but taking it from the world's best, it was a little unfortunate, but it's our rules and you have to play by the rules, you know. But I ain't calling no names and knocking nobody door or anything, but I feeling good, I mean, they could say now me, Profi, Kishon, gold medals.
Staying in the Twin Island Republic, the country's newest football training facility gets a passing grade from members of the Caribbean Football Union, and an administrator in the sport believes the rest of the region should follow in the footsteps of Trinidad and Tobago football.
Dressing rooms, coaches' quarters, dining room for the youth, etc., etc.
President of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, David John Williams, is speaking about what's inside the multi-million-dollar facility to Caribbean Football Union officials, some of them comparing it to their own facilities back in their home country. In the end, some of them shared their thoughts on the building.
We're looking forward to being able to coming here in Trinidad and Tobago, learning not only from the infrastructure development, but also from the football development side. And I think this facility and what the TTFA is planning is a brilliant step in that direction.
Representative from the Jamaican Football Federation, Dalton Wint, felt the initiative should be replicated throughout the region.
What we have here is something that should be replicated throughout the Caribbean. It's a facility that takes care of all the needs and relates to football. One of the biggest expense that we have on football is to have people housed in a facility, and most of us have to spend huge sum in hotels. So what we have here is something that, as I have said before, it should be replicated throughout all the region.
And Edwin Wood of the Barbados Football Association also felt it was an initiative that could bring in income.
The location is ideal as well for income generation. We have swimming next door, the velodrome. So it's a facility that I believe can be used as an income generating facility.
World Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton had a tumultuous day at the track on his way to an 11th place finish at the German Grand Prix, his worst showing to date for the season. It was a bad day for Mercedes as Hamilton's teammate Valtteri Bottas crashed out and did not finish the race. Mercedes' troubles began when Hamilton ran wide at the penultimate corner, slid across the slippery runoff and hit the wall. Trying to make up lost ground, Hamilton then had a massive spin at turn 1 with 11 laps to go. He needed to stop again for fresh tires, which cost him any chance he might have had of points. The event was won by Red Bull's Max Verstappen. And finally, in horse racing, Barbadian jockey Patrick Husbands continued his good form at Woodbine after landing the 100,000 Canadian dollar King Corrie Stakes. Riding with Olympic runner, Husbands beat the 3-year-old geldings to the wire by 2.5 lengths in a time of 1 minute 9.66 seconds. Super Success came in second in front of Big Drink of Water. Woodbine's Robert Geller has the call.
Road, leaving Big Drink of Water and Super Success to rival early. They've gone clear by 6 or 7 lengths. And the next pair, Corduroy Road, Olympic Runner, have a lot of catching up now to do. Big Drink of Water, head on the chest early, shows the way by a half. Super Success, lobbing up on the outside, 7 lengths to Olympic Runner, ahead to Corduroy Road. 22-1 was the first quarter. 3.5 furlongs to run in the King Corrie, and Big Drink of Water, flanked by Super Success, who remains dangerous. 8 lengths away, Corduroy Road, and a half to Olympic Runner. It's been a race in 2 divisions as they come to the quarter. Big Drink of Water trying to pull clear now. For Jose Valdivia Jr. turns in front. Super Success second and coming on a bit. Corduroy Road 4 lengths away. Olympic Runner's hard at it. Super Success has been breathing down the neck of Big Drink of Water and now challenges strongly. Big Drink of Water on the inside. Here's Olympic Runner flying. And boy, was that a rush of a move. In one fell swoop has won this race coming away. Was under the whip and then wins hard held. What an impressive display. Olympic Runner 2.5, Super Success, Big Drink of Water, Corduroy Road.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When you think of what we went through with Hurricane Irma, you had to be able to recognize what are the things we need to do to cope with the aftermath. The psychological trauma, to me, is probably the most telling on a lot of people.
Preparedness is the key. So when people are prepared, when people have what their resources in terms of how they can cope with the disaster, they're better able to be able to return to their normal life. They're better able to make decisions that are informed for themselves and for their family and then for their community. Be ready. Look, listen, and link.
They're on a rally here. Oh, a little miss bobble. Free ball over. Long rally here. Just goes on up.
Now for a recap of the day's major developments. New chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, promises free, fair and transparent elections as she takes up the post. And in sport, rain wrecks the opening round of the Cricket West Indies Under-19 Championship. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.